Hello children, I am Mrs. Sanjyot Johar and I will be conducting your geography class. Now class 8 we are going to begin with chapter number 2, population dynamics. After going through the chapter, you will be able to describe the factors that affect the population of a place, identify over and underpopulated countries of the world and analyze the impact of over and underpopulation on society. So let us begin with the session. Definition: population means the total number of the people in a particular place. Northern and southern division, that is also there. Now northern is all the land and south is all the water body. So this difference is large and this difference is constantly going. The under changes in it with regard to the size and the composition of the population. Population dynamics is the branch of the life sciences. And what does it do? It studies the size and the age composition of the population with regard to various of the systems that may be dynamic, biological or the environment or any of such systems that include the birth rate, death rate or by immigration or by emigration. Let us now understand the distribution of population in the world. Population of the world is unevenly distributed. Here the map shows the darker shaded areas which has the high density populated areas of the world and lighter shade shows the countries which support the low population of the world. Population throughout the whole world has been on a consistent rise because of the falling death rate, but it has always not been so. Certain events in the past history, it has shown a declining trend of the population caused maybe because of the disease, epidemic, natural disasters, maybe the wars that has been fought down. So the population, it may rise or it may fall. Touching the topic of population density simply refers to the number of the people living per unit area. It actually tells us about the human area relationship. Like the densely populated regions of the world, they are the one which are dominantly dependent upon agriculture or industrial, like say for example Southeast Asia. Then we have the moderately populated regions of the world which are dependent upon the economic growth for their population to grow, like say for example Central America. Then we have the sparsely populated areas of the world where the population is very thinly distributed and it is dependent upon say for example the climate of the place. Now say for example equatorial region, polar region or the desert areas of the world which are highly harsh climatic areas of the world. Let us now discuss the factors that affect the distribution of population. Now these factors, they are not the watertight factors, alright. Some of the factors it can be included in some of the places, in some of the places they can be left behind. So these factors or these categories as such, they are physical factors, economic factors and historical factors responsible for the distribution of the population in a particular area. Let us discuss the physical factors which include topography. Now by topography we mean the land area. If the land area it is a mountain one, then it is very difficult to live over there because of the harsher land conditions. In the plain area it is possible to settle down. Then we have climate. The extreme climatic conditions, again it is very difficult to settle down. So the population will only settle down if the climatic conditions they are livable. Then we have the soil as in another example. Now soil, fertile soil, agriculture is possible. So large number of the population it would be based over there. People are likely to settle down into the areas where readily fresh water availability is there for industrial, agriculture and domestic sector. Then we have the minerals, where the availability of the mineral deposit it is there. There the industrial sector is likely to develop and hence the growth of population too. Economic and socio-cultural factors says that the society is continuously changing. So physical factors they hold less importance and more importance is being given to the development of the industries, good transportation, etc. State that the time frame that the human settlement has taken to settle in a particular area also holds the importance. But then again, it is not so the case always. The areas may shift because the path of the river, it has changed. Say for example, then the population is also likely to be shifted to the another place. So if one factor is working for one place, not necessarily it is also working for the other place. Understand the population growth. First we have to understand that what is birth rate, death rate and the natural growth rate. So birth rate, it means the number of the live births per 1,000 persons per year, and death rate is the number of the deaths per 1,000 persons per year. The difference between the two, it gives us the natural growth rate, and this is what tells us about the population growth, which means the increase in the number of the people that reside or that live in a given specific area for a specific period of a time. Now, say for example, if the country is having the higher birth rate with lower death rate, then it means that there is increase in the population. And if the country, there is a decrease in population, then obviously it is because of the lower birth rate and the higher death rate. Then the countries such as USA and Canada, they have the low birth rate by keeping their death rate low. Opposite can be said about countries such as India and Malaysia, where the birth rate is high and the death rate is low. But then it can be accounted to the improved medical facilities that these countries, they have now witnessed upon, or maybe some sort of the socio-cultural factors that is working for them. To understand more about the topic, understand what is migration, emigration and immigration. What does it mean? Now, immigration, it means the act of entering in a foreign country to live over there. And emigration is the act of leaving a country to live in the another. So I could say that a person's grandfather has immigrated to the another country. Then migration is defined as the movement of the people from one country to another country. Now let us put all of these definitions together and calculate the population growth, which equals to the birth rate plus emigration minus death rate plus emigration. What do we mean by overpopulation? It means that the huge population, it is present in any given geographical area where the number of the people, it is more than the available natural resources that are required to maintain a basic standard of living in any of the country. Overpopulation, it brings many more problems such as deforestation, it is there, garbage, waste collection, it is there, traffic jams, they are there, hygiene is negligible, overcrowded areas that is present over there. So countries such as China, India, they face such problem. Now in underpopulation, the available resources, they are more and are not completely utilized. So it means that the available resources can support a very large number of the population, and then they do not have to reduce down on their standard of living. Example, Canada. Now what is the impact of overpopulation which has occurred because of maybe the advanced medical facilities or the lowering of the death rate? It has some negative consequences that is attached to it, like the depletion of the resources, it will be at the much faster rate. Then the population increase, it will lead to the overuse of the natural resources such as coal and oil. Rise in the unemployment, in the poverty, unrest in the society, higher crime rate, it will be there. Poor health sanitation, it would be there. Overpopulation would lead to the high cost of living. Prices would always be more because demand is more and the supply is less. Then the last of the factors, the number of the plants and animals, it would be affected. by the rapidly changing climate and the pollution. So these were the factors of the impact of the overpopulation. Let us now go through the impact of the underpopulation. Now we already know that underpopulation, it exists when the population, it does not completely utilize the resources that is available to them. So the large number of the population is sustained without having to reduce on the basic living standards. Now countries such as North America, they are the good example of it. Only disadvantage that the underpopulated nations, they will have is the lack of the human resources, and it means that it would be the shortage of the labor. Rest, the positive aspect is more like there would be no shortage of the natural resources, low pollution level, it will be there, the job opportunities, it would be maximum, less poverty, less unrest, less lower number of the crime rate, it would be there. Basic amenities such as water and electricity, it would be readily available, and housing and sanitation, it would be easily available to the people of the underpopulated nations of the world. So the need of the hour is to make people aware and educate them about overpopulation. The last of our topic is population composition, which is actually the description of the population according to the certain elements of age, sex, then we have the rural and the urban population, and the ratio of the literacy level. So all of these combined together, and then we can know about the composition of our population. Now out of this, age is the most important element of the population composition. Now it has been used by the researchers for the various of the studies thereof. The data for the age composition is divided into three groups: children 0 to 14 years, adults 15 to 64 years, and age population 65 years and above. Out of these, children and age population, they are the dependent ones, and the adults, they are the productive one. So it means if a country is having more of the adult population, the country is bound to grow. Plus the number of the children, when it will be added on after the number of the years, then the country will also show the progress. But the age population, it is being showed as the dependent one, as is happened with the Japan population, which has the age of 65 years or older, that contribute to the 27% of Japan's total working population. Then we have the sex ratio. Now sex ratio, it can be defined as the ratio between male and female in the total number of the population. It is represented by the number of the females per 1,000 males. Now the more sadly in our country, the number of male is more rather than that of the female, and actually the perfect balance is what is desired to be achieved, so that our country and society move to the progressive path. Next element is population pyramid, which shows the element of age and sex together in the form of the pyramid, and it is also referred to as the age and sex pyramid. It actually shows the male and the female population of a country with different age groups. Actually the shape of it determines whether the country is growing at a consistent rate, or the country is growing slowly and or steadily. The next element, we have the rural and the urban divide. Now by this we mean that the areas, they have the different kind of the lifestyles, both of this, their livelihood is different, their society that is different, their level of development also varies. So we could say that the higher rural population is found in the agricultural countries, while the industrial nations or the urban nations, they will have the higher share of the urban population. At last, we have the literacy level. Now, in the simple terms, literacy means the ability to read and write. And we know that more literate the population is, the more progress the country it can make. With regard to the economic development, with regard to the social development or the democratic growth, literacy also influences the other social factors and maybe the economic patterns as well. So children, the literacy level of a country, it tends to raise the level of progress of a country. Thank you, and I hope that this session would turn out to be quite worthwhile for you as well. So by the time we come down to the next session, please go through the set of the question answers that is given there at the back, and we are going to solve it again sometime. Thank you. Be safe.